funk volume.
So where are we at now? Let's just fast forward to, let's see, we talked Undercover Prodigy, um, artists, Knock Madness tour. What? So up until that point, so there were no other issues that you had with me up until that point, other than the time that you're saying you couldn't, you for some reason you weren't able to get access to a certain
Yeah, yeah. That
amount of
that
money.
was the only thing that I would say that was kind of like a just like a okay, yeah. That would probably be the only thing that I can remember that would have been more on the larger side of things. Everything else is petty and worth forgetting, but that would have been one of the, I
Right.
guess, the larger things that I did remember.
Right.
Yeah.
But just so people watching know, like we always had an end of the year meeting
Yes.
before people got paid out, and we would discuss the year. You know, are you happy with these percentages? Are you? And then people would be paid out, and when we
Yeah.
were paid out, everybody was copied on the emails. You agree with
Correct.
that,
I agree.
right?
I agree. We
So
did. We had that.
and then we would have I don't know, maybe quarterly, and we would go up there at different times. Like I would have you know, I don't now that I think about it, I don't know what I was going. Like me and Humble were actually cool. Like we were actually friends up until a certain point, starting with the Undercover Prodigy, because we butted heads. And we don't need to go into specifics there, but I would go up there just to chop it up and just to, you know, they were the homies. But this was our business management team. They were our accountants.
Yeah.
And yeah, so let's fast forward to the 2015 tour.
Okay.
The beginning of the 2000. We started 2015 tour. So we did a 2012 Funk Volume tour.
Yeah.
And then artists would kind of tour on their own. Like Dizzy did his own tours. He did a couple of them. Jarren did his own tours. You did the Knock Madness tour.
Yeah.
That one was rocky. You had left that one. That was a rocky tour for you.
Well, I didn't leave. I left one show.
Right.
Yeah.
You came
I left.
back.
I didn't come back. No, I didn't come back. Oh, I went back to the city a later date. Yeah.
Right. No, you came back to the tour, and we ended up finishing
we did.
the tour.
I left Fort Collins that night, which I'm sorry for.
Right.
But yeah.
And then so our plan was to always tour as a label, like every 2 to 3 years. Right. And then let everybody do their thing, come back. So the 2015 tour would have, you know, that's the next tour from the 2012 tour in terms of a crew.
Yeah.
That one started off rocky.
The 2015 tour.
You remember?
Yeah, I remember. Yep,
tour?
I remember everything. Yeah.
What was your mind state before that tour? And how are you feeling?
My mindset, I don't think I wanted to even go on tour.
I don't think you've ever wanted to go.
I didn't, but I really didn't want to go on that one.
Right.
I really didn't want to go on that one.
And also no, like I just want people to be clear that like it's fair if you don't. It would be fair to me if you say you didn't want a tour and we never set it up in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
But you agreed to the tours.
I agree.
We set it up. Then you feel like you don't want to go.
Yeah, exactly. But still went. But yeah, right. and you know what? That's the problem. I've learned that now. That's why now when people are like, "Hey, we want to book you in Switzerland for 2022," I'm like, "Hell no," because you set me up for failure. Because it sounds good. They're like, "Yeah, we'll give you 30 grand or whatever." I'm like, "Okay." And then when that time comes around, I'm like, why the fuck did I agree to this shit? Like, when did I do this? And I'm over here calling Jamie, like, when did I do this? Like, yeah, you agreed to this 2 years ago on this day. And I'm like, I'm gonna beat the old me's ass, man.
Right.
I did that a lot. I would agree to these tours. And then when it actually comes down to it, I don't want to get out of bed or I don't want to catch the flight. And I'm like, man, this is the part that like takes the fun out of it. It takes the fun out of rapping. And
why does touring take the fun out of rapping? Because for a lot of artists, that's their favorite part.
Yeah. For me, it's a whole psychological, I'll tell you, it's deep. I did not grow up cool. I didn't grow up getting attention from people. No one ever cared about me. Like, I mean, you know, I say that I had like a small group of friends, you know, but overall I was never a cool guy. When I go to parties, it was awkward. Felt like I shouldn't be there. People never paid attention to me. When I went on tour, people paid attention to me, and there's a lot of issues on tour, but people paid attention to me a lot, and I loved it. When I was on stage, I'm crowd surfing, I'm standing on crowds. People are pretty much like praising me. So it went from a total like space of like no one gives a fuck when I'm at home or in my real reality, but then when I'm on stage as Hopsin, everyone cared. And then it was like every time I was on stage, I felt high. I felt I was like I was on top of the world. And then when I would get off stage, and especially after an entire tour coming back home, I felt like I had nothing, and it contributed to my depression. Or even after I get off stage and go back to the tour bus, I felt like I wasn't that same guy, or there was an energy shift where I really felt depressed. I'm like, damn, I was just doing all that cool stuff on stage, saying all the lyrics. Everyone was there having a good time, and I'm contributing to making everybody's lives better. And then they all go home and they laugh and they smile with their, with their girlfriends, their boyfriends. And then I go back into this hotel room by myself or on the back of this bus, and I felt alone. And I'm like, I don't have someone performing for me to help me get through my tough time or whatever I'm going through. And I wish my reality was as cool as it was when I was on stage, even though, but it's all about perspective. That, really pretty much kind of is my reality, me being on stage, because it is me and that is a reality. But when I got off and when I went home, whatever, it was silent. It was always quiet. And I just really felt like in my head, it's like, yup, we're still that same Marcus that we were in elementary, middle school, and high school, where no one really gave a fuck. And now you back here at home and ain't nobody here. And you playing this clown for everybody on stage and doing this circus act, and they love you. But then we get off, none of those people are here. But then why would the fans come back to my house and all that? So I get that. It's all about perspective. But I felt alone because it was such a hot and cold, transition of being hot, and then it just goes to cold, and then it would just fuck my head up. And I just didn't even want, when I thought of tour, I'm like, no. And oh, we good? Oh, and then on top of that, like I said earlier, some of the shows when ticket sales weren't right, it would fuck me up and make me feel like I'm actually whack. And what I had a big issue with doing back then was comparing myself to other artists, going, so and so he's doing this many numbers on tours, with packing this, these size, whatever size venues they're doing, and I'm doing this. This is some bullshit. And I'm like, I've been, and then I'm like, I feel like, how come I can't be doing that? What is going wrong? What's the issue? Why am I? And then it just turns into this big dark cloud of negative thoughts and negative energy, along with the feeling of highs and lows of being on stage and off stage. And then you just question things, going, why am I here? What am I doing this? Well, how come I'm not bigger? Maybe I need to sign a record deal. Man, fuck record companies. They fucked me over. Is it me? Maybe I need to make a song about this. Maybe it's my manager. Maybe it's the team I'm with. Maybe it's the beats. And then you like, I don't know. And then you just like, yeah, you lose yourself.
Right. And again, it goes back to, for other artists that have similar feel, like you need a therapist. Like you have to have.
No, you do.
You have to have a therapist.
As a human being in general, but especially if you're a fucking rapper or in the music industry in general, you need a fucking therapist, because this shit gets bumpy and you're going to lose yourself. So
Right.
what the stage we're in right now, the whole cycle, I was not me. Just so you know. Like that whole, I'm saying the time frame that we're at of 2015 or whatever, I was completely lost out of myself.
Did you ever? I mean, because obviously, like I'm witnessing these things. I'm witnessing the things you say and do. But I'm in addition to trying to get you to go to therapy, I'm trying to surround you with people that really care about you, right? Like the people, like I really care about you. My family cares about you. Swizz cares about you. Dizzy actually, really cares
Yeah,
about you.
I
Jarren
know.
really cares
I know.
about you. The people that work with us really cared about you. Why? If you ever talked to your therapist about, like, you weren't alone. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have the same, like, you skate, we have different friends. So we
Yeah.
spent a lot of time together for sure.
Uh-huh.
But we run in different circles, so we can't necessarily say we're best friends,
Yeah.
but we're close. We spend a shitload of time together,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? Why wasn't like did you ever talk with your therapist like why wasn't our team like why didn't you lean on us for support?
I didn't know how or what that even looked like. I I just didn't. It didn't seem like something that felt true to my nature to do that. Um, I know ideally it would have been nice to have been the situation, but it wasn't, and I didn't want to force things or force myself upon in people's lives or trying to be buddy buddy with them if it didn't really feel like that. And honestly, looking back, there was no saving me. Like there was no saving me. There's nothing like only way to really save me was if we had gotten a fight and and somebody would have knocked me out and would have said, "Yeah, motherfucker, you feel that? That's the bullshit you doing. This is what you want. Now let's talk." Or somebody get me in a headlock like Ja or something and be like, "No, you talk to Dame. Talk to I ain't like so." It
Right.
would have had to be a situation where someone really broke through my mind and humbled me in a situation. Like I just didn't understand, man. And when you don't understand, you don't know how to apply yourself to situations. And even with sitting down with a therapist, I couldn't bring these things up because I don't know what to bring up to a therapist because I don't even think that anything's wrong with me in that way.
Right.
Back then, I used to always tell myself, what is the therapist gonna tell me? I bet I could school the therapist on shit. I was an idiot. That's what I used to say. I used to tell
I know, that's why I'm laughing.
I used to literally think, like, what are they gonna tell me? Like, I'm the ill mind. What the fuck? You can't teach me shit. I'm gonna teach you shit. And I really thought that I knew it all. And I thought that a therapist would end up getting schooled by me if we sat down going, you know what, damn, I'm sorry, but this man's actually a genius. And you're I thought that's what the case would have been. I didn't know what questions to ask. But that's what I'm saying, sir. I needed someone who could pick me apart to the core so then I could see myself. And it just didn't happen. It happened the way that it happened, and it is what it is. But,
So
it's unfortunate.
so you went into 2015 tour like it definitely, I think we got into an argument that outside of the bus before it even left because you were late and I think you wanted to bring your turtles or something like that.
Oh, no.
Like
Oh, my
it
God,
was
no. No. Did I want to bring no way. There's
yeah,
no way. I didn't want to bring
yeah,
our turtle. I mean,
yeah.
no, I don't
It,
think so. I couldn't have
it was
brought the
something about some
turtles.
damn turtles and it got like
Oh,
we
my
got into an
God.
argument then because you said something like, you were allowed to be late because people are there for you, and it was just an out of pocket. It was just an out of pocket argument. So going into the tour, like things were shaky, and you saying what you were saying, I think it makes sense because you already because the ticket sales weren't it
They weren't
wasn't
what we
it
predict.
wasn't
What?
a bad tour, but it definitely wasn't like the huge step up that we
Yeah,
thought we
yeah.
were gonna take.
Exactly.
So I think you saying that and now like you wondering like, okay, well, why am I not in the place where these other artists seem to be? It must be him or it must be Dame or it must be whatever. It must be the Warner deal that we just signed or
Yeah,
whatever.
like I said, yeah, you start questioning things, wondering because you're trying to pinpoint what it is.
Right.
And although I think some of those, ideas I had may have been valid in certain ways for me to consider new things, I don't think I'm wrong for that. But yeah, it's in that space that we were in, I started to question everything. And I
Right.
know even what was it? Even when it came down to, I remember when I called the booking agent and asked him how much. You remember? No, because I was curious because
Yeah, you
so
started to look because you felt like you were supposed to be in another place. You needed to go on this search about like
I just went asking
what
questions.
really is the problem.
Yeah, but
Right.
I asked questions. So I remember I called the booking agent I just wanted to understand, honestly, that
Was that
$2015.
are you saying that because in 2015 we did U.S. tour and Australia tour? Are you talking about calling the booking agent to find out
The,
about the
the
with the Australia tour call or something
Oh, no,
higher?
no, no. The call. No, I'm talking about the when I called the booking agent and I asked him how much is, or I remember I asked him how much do I get paid for a show normally,
Right.
and then versus a full funk volume show, or how much everyone gets paid all
Right.
together.
Oh,
And
I thought you did that for the Australia tour because
maybe I
so
did.
for the
It might have been.
tours,
I might have done it. I don't remember what tour I did it for, but I remember I called Matt
right?
and I
Yeah.
did ask that question.
So typically, what happened when we were on tour? Obviously, I'm working with the booking agent to route the tour. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they put together the routing, and then I show it to you to make sure everything. You know, make sure you're comfortable with the routing, comfortable with the number of shows, stuff like that. What we're getting paid. And then I would work with our business manager at the time to do the budgeting to figure out like, okay, how much can we afford to pay everybody? Because we would work out a budget based on the best case scenario, worst case scenario.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes shows don't go down, sometimes we don't get paid for one reason or another. And then the meet and greet sales fluctuate. So that's how it would work. I remember you calling the booking agent about the Australia tour, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But so the 2015 tour, that was a rocky tour
Uh huh.
because some shows were good, some were
The
bad.
American run. You
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
just in general, or the Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh huh.
And that's when you guys had to start. You
Yeah.
guys, I didn't go on this tour.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I wasn't on every single day. I think this might have been. No, I didn't go on the Knock Madness tour either. I don't
Yeah,
think.
no, you didn't go on that tour. You
No,
may
no.
have popped up for certain days,
Uh,
but yeah, and
yeah.
the FE 2015 tour, yeah, you didn't either. And that's when we had a lot of conversations without you there, and me, and I can tell you about those conversations. I want to tell you about them. Um,
Basically, it was about you. You guys were frustrated with, but let me explain the Warner deal
oh yeah, go
so people
ahead.
have a better understanding. We signed a distribution deal with Warner. A distribution deal is not a conventional deal. We still got to move like an independent label. And I think I explained it earlier in the podcast. This deal was attractive to me because we would get the resources of Warner and it would be a percentage of sales deal so that they only got paid when we put out music, as opposed to hiring a bunch of people, in-house marketing people, PR people, and being responsible for those costs even when we're not putting out music. So that's one reason that Warner was attractive to me. The other
Mm-hmm.
reason was like they had resources that I feel like we didn't have, and these were some of the people that I felt like you guys needed to get to the next level.
Yeah.
What you guys needed to understand is that because it wasn't a conventional deal, we were probably not like the highest priority. They're only getting 17% of our sales,
Mm-hmm.
right? With their acts that they're signing to their label, they probably own their masters and the artist probably gets 20% or whatever. So they get a lot. So I never went into that deal expecting that we would be on the top of the list. We would need to build this relationship and we would need to really kind of be in their good graces to get certain things that I know we want. So that's ultimately why I felt like the good, and I still feel like the deal was a positive thing because at the time we were releasing music through Empire, giving them 12% just for
Mm-hmm.
distribution. Shit, 5 more percent, and we get access to the marketing
The,
folks, PR folks. Why not take that risk? Like
yeah.
to me, it's a no brainer. So I was comfortable with the deal. There were definitely things that I thought that they could have done better, but
Uh-huh.
even to this day, I do not regret working with Warner. So,
Yeah.
and I know you guys had a different perspective at the time. I'm not sure if it changed, but feel free to talk about some
Oh,
of the conversations you had during the 2015 tour because eventually when we got to New York, we can talk about what happened in that meeting too.
okay. I don't remember anything about New York or a meeting at all, so I can't wait to hear that because I don't remember nothing. I
Okay.
think all record deals are bullshit, and I'm a firm believer. I will never be owned by anybody, and that's so. And my gut has always told me that. I just don't believe in people, at a round table making decisions for an artist and doing all the bullshit and lying to them and getting their hopes up and shit. I believe in transparency, and labels don't have that. That's why I didn't. I know we weren't signing them in that way. There was just a lot of questions, man. I mean,
We still moved I mean, we still put out
we did,
music
yeah,
how
we
we
still,
wanted to
yeah,
put
yeah,
out music.
we still did. So they didn't
Right.
affect our output of what we were doing, and they didn't tell us how to do us. But I did feel like they couldn't really do anything that we couldn't have done ourselves, whether we had, dropped the hottest album or not. I feel like I don't, and I feel that way about a lot of labels, unless if they do get a larger percentage, they would have done more for us. But I don't remember everything. Honestly, my perspective in my mind, I wrote them off like I don't give a fuck about what they. I didn't give a fuck that they existed because I just didn't see any value in it. But I just left the faith in you that you knew what that it was the right thing. Because and also at that time I didn't involve myself in the business stuff how I should have. I know I had been to a few meetings, but I didn't really understand, and I probably didn't give a fuck. I mean, I don't think I gave a fuck about understanding, and that's just what led to me just kind of having maybe negative feelings towards that. Um, but then that also led to what did you ask? I forget what the question was. Did you just ask the question, or do you
No,
want me to lead to what?
just in Warner's defense, like I still feel like it was something positive because some of the things that we did do under Warner that we weren't doing by ourselves is one, we started getting regular play on Sirius Radio, and there were a lot of connections there. Two, we didn't have music on regular radio, but we started doing like radio interviews and starting to
Yeah.
get to know different
Uh-huh.
radio stations. And you guys started going. I think Dizzy went on a radio interview tour. And I think you went to some radio stations as
Yeah.
well. They lined that up. We headlined the New It
New
Two
at two in
stage
Los Angeles. I
in
remember that.
for Power,
Uh-huh.
um, and nothing came to fruition. But we were starting to have very real conversations with brands,
Yeah.
trying to get bigger brands, and we didn't land anything. But oftentimes with brands, it takes a while to build that relationship. So at least our name was getting put in the mix.
Yeah.
Right, I think it was a cell phone carrier, I can't remember which one, but it was, like, real brands, and that's the type of stuff that I feel was gonna pull us out of the world that we didn't really wanna be in, like, just associated with more mainstream stuff, so those conversations were happening, and to me, if we were gonna that was worth the 5% that we were because we were already giving 12% to Empire, and if we would have stuck with it while streaming got more popular, for sure they would have been able to help us out, with playlist placements.
Yeah.
So I still believe I'd do it again. I would put us in the Warner deal. I'd put us in the Warner deal again. It's just an opinion. People are fair to have it's fair to have a different opinion, but feel free to share the conversations you guys were having on the bus while I wasn't on the tour.
Yeah. So Um, my perspective has shifted a lot since then, so I'm gonna give my perspective on how it was at this time. I mean, at the time when me, Dizzy, and Jarren had the conversations during the Warner deal when we were on the FE 2015 tour. We were touring, and maybe before shows, after shows, we'd all just get together, and Hoppa was involved in these conversations as well. And we all felt like we should be in a better place. We felt like we were you know, rising, and we were still growing, but it was moving like this at first, and then it started going like this, like just kind of slow. And of course, we
Mhm.
didn't know why, so we're wondering why. So we, I mean, maybe I had probably just said it could have been Warner. I don't remember me dissing Warner. I feel like I just didn't even have them in my mind. Management was one of the big deals. That was one of the things where we all actually came to agreement on that. Like, man, we need new managers because Dame is not like we understood your history of where you came from and where we got, but we thought that maybe with the knowledge that you had from the industry so far, it may have not been enough to take us to that next level. And it's no disrespect to you, like this is just what
It's
we
fine.
thought.
No, it's all
We
good.
yeah, and me personally, I don't even want to put the words in their mouth, but I felt like you you know for as a manager, what you had done for us was amazing up until that point to where now I felt like I should have been doing other things. And honestly, man, I was it yeah, I saw other artists and I'm like, damn, how come they're getting like the late night TV spots and certain things that I'm not getting, but I was getting more. I felt like my fan base was bigger in a lot of ways than in these artists. I'm getting more like online. My sales were probably like bigger than some of these artists. And when it came to YouTube, I'm getting way more views than them and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm like legit like famous, but yet I'm still getting treated like an underdog in the industry. How come I can't go on Jimmy Kimmel or whatever? And and our, even the Breakfast Club, which I mean, I don't want to say, I know we had set up the Breakfast Club or something happened, but whatever other things, I was just wondering, like, what the fuck is it? I didn't know what it was. None of us knew what it was, but yet we all felt like we should have been in a bigger, in a bigger, better position, but we didn't know how that what that meant or what new piece to bring in. So we just start using our imagination. Is it a manager? Is it a better record deal? Is it collaborations? Should we do this? Should we do that? But I know a big thing for me, I did feel like I wanted a new manager. And this was the start of the Funk Volume tour in 2015. I don't think I presented that idea to you yet at the start of it. I don't remember when I presented the idea that I may want a new manager.
It was at the end. At the
Yeah,
end of the tour.
yeah, okay. But I know we talked about it a lot. We talked about it a lot, everybody. Then we also even kind of we were kind of like happy at the idea as well. And it wasn't in a way where it's like, yeah, we gonna get Dame out of the picture. It was more of just like a business thinking. Like, yeah, maybe yeah, man, and we'd all just brainstorming on people we knew who probably would have been a good fit for a manager. And then yeah, but then we didn't stay on it too. We talked about it a few times during the tour, but then we just went on with the tour, and um and yeah, that was just one of the things that contributed to my mind in going, okay, maybe Dame is just like, maybe I just need to I need to get a new manager and just remove one of his hats, just so I can get to a different place in my career, a place that I think is better. Um, and then so another concern on the tour that I had later on, and I'm going to speak about this with like, I'm not trying to shake things up. This is just from my perspective, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how it went down.
Mm-hmm.
I was it was maybe towards the end of the tour or something. I think I had just checked in with the accountants because I was just curious on what everybody was getting paid because I didn't know exactly at the time. And I was and then yeah, once the accountant told me what the numbers were, um I won't say any numbers. I'll let you say them if you feel comfortable. And I'm not saying because I feel like hiding it, but when I heard the numbers, yeah, I was satisfied with my numbers. I was totally cool with that. But it was Dizzy, Dizzy and Jarren and wait, maybe not Dizzy.
But we talked about how the tour would be split. We always would talk about how the tour would be split prior to going on the tour.
And
It wasn't
see,
just these weren't just numbers that were pulled out of the thin air, like out. They were split a certain way because that's how we agreed to it prior to every tour.
and forgive me, if I don't remember. I'm not gonna say it didn't happen because I do believe that it
Right.
did happen, and maybe I just forgot or I didn't pay attention due to my lack of awareness when it comes to certain things, and I'm just brushing it off or whatever. And then, but I just know in that moment, yeah, I guess that's when I had given it my full attention, going, oh, okay,
Right.
this is what it is. These are the numbers, and that's when I really I questioned why I felt uncomfortable with your percentage versus like I guess specifically like Jarren and Hoppa's because they were actually out on the road and you were not there. So it made me feel like you were getting paid for nothing. Now, that's how I felt at the time. I felt like you were getting too much because you weren't out on the road with us, and and you were making more than those two specific, Hoppa and Jarren, and I was really uncomfortable with that. I didn't understand it. And if you had presented that to me before the tour, like I said, I could have vocalized it then, and maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't see it. Maybe I don't know what it was. So I do believe that you did present that, at one point in time, and I may have
Yeah, every
overlooked it.
every every tour we had, I would go over the budget with you. If it was
Yeah.
just Dizzy's tour, I'll go over the budget with
Mm-hmm.
him. Like, look, this is what. Oh, you want to add that? I don't think you can want to do that because if I add this is how the numbers gonna change.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So yeah, but that's why maybe at that moment I felt the inner businessman coming out of me like, wait a minute, and I felt the need to question it. Um And then amongst me feeling that way, I don't know if I had called you, but whether I did or not, I can't remember. But I remember I also had discussed it with everyone. And of course, I know they probably. I'm gonna just be real. Rappers, and this is a note to anybody. We're dumbasses. We're actually dumbasses. Just because we may be making $1 million or whatever, we are all dumb.
No,
Like no, we are. No, not forever. We learn.
Right.
But when we start out dumb, you got motherfuckers come, dude.
It's not good. It's not good. There are definitely some smarter cats, but if there are people that don't know as much and they're talking, they're only gonna hype each other up.
No, and that's what happened on the bus. Yeah. Now maybe bits and pieces may have been worth questioning. But overall, I'm gonna let you know right now, the hype that was on that bus, I started a fuck Dame coalition on that tour bus.
Yeah. But so, if I remember correctly, the numbers. Let's the numbers. I don't really want to share exact numbers.
No, let's not. We don't.
Let's just say. I'm gonna use fake numbers, but the proportion is correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's just say you made $120. Dizzy made $50. And Jarren made $30.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Right. So that equals $200.
Yeah, and then I remember. Yeah.
And then I was supposed to get 50,000. My number's 50,000.
This man.
Right. Whatever. But what I'm trying to explain is if you add that all together, right? Just say 200 plus 50 is the total is 250.
Yeah.
Right. 50 of that is 20%. Like that's super normal. And not only is that it seems weird because I manage all of you guys. So if I just manage you, then it would be a percentage of what you make. But I manage you, Jarren, and Dizzy. So
and you know what? That's accurate. Right. That is accurate. I didn't understand things how I do now. I guess with the concerns of us feeling like we needed new management to put our careers in places that we would have been comfortable with. I think that we all maybe thought that we just need a new management, and I think that feeling also ignited and he's getting this much, and our careers are not in the place that they want to be, that we want it to be, and he's just at home making this much while we're out here.
So that's another. There's probably like 5 things I want to say right now.
Okay, go ahead.
For artists, like, a manager is not necessarily supposed to be on the road. Like, that's a tour manager. You guys got used to me being on the road.
We did.
Because that is what I did coming up. We played multiple roles.
Yep.
Right? Like, so all managers don't sit on the road. If they're not there, that doesn't mean they're not working. Like, we had a lot of different things moving. So Dame wasn't at home just like put his feet up, go tour. I'm going to make some money off you guys. Like, that's not, we were running a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah.
Like, so there's always something going on. I'm the owner. I'm the head of the label. So it's not, I wasn't on vacation. Right.
Yeah.
And so that calculation, me getting 20%, that's on a net. We did management on a net basis, right? Most managers are on gross. So our booking agent, that tour, they're on 10% gross. Our booking agent made more than me. Our booking agent, because they're not taking any cuts or anything. I think they took like $75,000.
Yeah.
So their booking agent made more than me. And that's not typically normal. I don't even know. You probably don't even know what's in your contract. It's another problem.
You said,
but in your artist management contracts, the way we did it was 25% net or 10% of gross. That's why there was always a discussion, right?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like because we were trying to make sure that people were happy and people were comfortable with what they had.
Yeah.
So it was 25% of net or at least 10% of gross
Mm-hmm.
to protect, for a manager to get something from the tour, because if there's hella expenses, and there were a lot of expenses, and we expected to sell more tickets,
Yeah.
and we should have been in a much better situation after that tour. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. But
Mm-hmm.
that's how it played. That's how it played
And
out.
yeah, no,
Um,
and you know what? I'm gonna and I like I said, I know you've had these conversations with us in the past, but this is why I say the rapper brain, we come into this, and we don't understand how to interpret business properly. We put trust into people, and then we go, hey, so and so looks like he knows what he's doing, um and I'm gonna just trust that he knows what he's doing. And I can confidently say, I did that with you. Dizzy did that with you. I think no Jarren had Jarren's situation. He probably did. I feel like he
he
always said,
started out with a different manager. Then he started out with 3 managers, and one of his managers passed away. And when that
oh yeah,
happened,
yeah.
I managed him.
Yeah,
But
okay. But I felt like, but a lot of rappers do that, and I run into that a lot these days as well, where people don't really understand things. And even though they're told, they don't understand. And as fucked up as that whole situation was, like, I was reacting off of confusion and, me wanting to be a bigger artist. And, the management side of things, I still think that was valid. Maybe I could have tried, explore new outlets with the management side specifically.
mhm.
But yeah, the way I interpreted the whatever was going down with the money, with that specific tour and all that, um yeah, man, I just I don't know exactly where my head was at as far as understanding, but I can just tell you that I didn't understand.
Right.
And that's not necessarily your fault because I was a grown man. It's not like I was 16 years old doing
But
that. So
I want you to know that you guys put that trust in me, and I never took advantage of it. Like, I never took something that wasn't owed to me. Matter of fact, like, we let Dizzy and Jarren ride for a minute, like, until they got on their feet. We didn't take,
yeah,
in the
I
very
know.
beginning, we didn't take anything from it. We made sure that people could provide for their family before we started taking the commissions we were supposed to get
Yeah,
from the jump.
yeah,
Like, if
yeah.
anything, we looked out for, or I looked
Mhm.
out for cash way more so than, from what I see other labels doing. Other
No,
people
you
were like,
you
"Oh,
you.
okay, that's the percentage you're supposed to take. You
Mhm.
take it, no matter what position it puts the artist in."
Yeah, yeah.
And you saying that you wanted another man, of course it's gonna hurt, especially when I felt like you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
Mhm.
didn't. There were so many things, like, holding your end of the bargain from a promotion standpoint. There were a lot of collaborations that were supposed to happen that never happened. I know Joe Budden had reached out at one point. The Travis Barker thing was supposed to, the Travis Barker project was supposed to happen.
Mhm.
You probably don't even remember this, but this would have been a crazy collab. Rag and Bone Man had reached out early. You probably need to
Mm.
look him up. His crazy soulful voice, like, it would have
Yeah.
been a super dope collab. Like,
Mhm.
there's just a lot of things. There were just a lot of levers that I wanted to pull that never got pulled, that I felt like, and I feel like with the Warner situation, if we would have just hung in there, played ball, got on their good side, like, some of these things would have started to happen. And if we made the music that fit radio, if there was ever an opportunity to do that, we
Mhm.
were building a relationship, so we were positioned to do the things that you guys wanted to do. It just
No,
didn't happen fast enough.
looking back at it, we were in a really good position. And I can say personally, I mean, I know I've talked to the other guys over the years and they've said that, that they can admit we were in a good position. We were like maybe we like now looking back, I'm like, damn. Like we were popping, even though the artist specifically may have not felt like we were, but we were. And yeah, it may not have been what we wanted, but I think every artist struggles with that.
Right.
They could be a little bit bigger. Um, but ultimately with that situation, like I said, with the tour and all that, I think what it really comes down to for an artist to understand, they're just gonna. I mean, they could watch stuff like this, which I hope they learn from, and they can see the ego that I had, or my lack of wanting to even understand a contract, because I think it's good for, like, it is comfortable for the artist knowing that they can trust the person, like when, like, we all trusted you to do, just handle the business stuff. Excuse me. But yeah, we trusted you to handle the business stuff. But every time an artist does that, especially if they're new and they don't want to understand, they leave it in someone else's hands. It's setting them up for failure in a way, because they don't really even know what it means to hand a business off to, or let someone do everything.
Right.
And then eventually, throughout their growth, they're gonna be like, "Hey man, what's that?" And then you'll be like, "You agreed to that, dog." You'll be like, "I ain't say that shit." And you'll be
Right.
like, "You said that right here." And be like, "Man, you lying." And then it turns into this and that. And it's weird. As much as I like think like what could have stopped me or anybody from going through this, nothing but going through it.
Right.
Nothing but, unless I had read a book, which I wasn't gonna read a book. And
I mean, and that's so I don't manage any music artists anymore. But going through this experience, because I always looked at it like this: like, I'll handle the business side. Like, I know I'm a good dude. I know I'm not gonna do nobody shady. Don't worry about it. But now, if I ever manage a music artist again, which I'm not really excited to be managing anybody, or except for the comedians I work with,
yeah,
it's gonna be a requirement that they learn the business, to at least to a certain point.
and that's how I feel.
It's a
That's how I
requirement. It will
feel.
be a
Yeah.
requirement. If you have no interest in learning the business, I have no interest in working
And
with
that
you.
is a great motto, and I stand by that, because it is serious. Because everybody, every like successful artist, or every rapper has a story in general. Every musician has a story of a situation that fucked up. And now that I'm mature and I can look back at all these situations, in reality, they probably fucked up because the artist said, "Hey man, you handle it all, dog. I'm gonna just make these beats over here, dog."
Right.
And then and then eventually when the shit starts popping, they go, "Wait, you made how much?" And I made it, and then it explodes. So it's better to understand it before it starts, so you can prevent that explosion, because it's almost inevitable that it is going to happen if you do not take the time to really understand what the hell you're eating and eating.
Right.
Sorry, no,
That
sorry,
too.
no. I was literally
that too.
no, my brain was thinking of a metaphor
Right.
to relate that to health, and I said eating, but you're pretty much eating the
Right.
deals you sign.
So this was the beginning of the end, because when we talked about your discomfort with me making what I made on the tour, that's when I said what I said. We were on the phone with Brandon, and it was I took offense. I took offense to you having a problem with what I make. One, because that's what I was supposed to make.
Yeah.
But two, because like literally nobody else was taking a pay cut. Like, why am I the only, like, how come nobody else is getting their pay cut? Like,
I understand
I
that.
put in a lot of work on this tour. Like, when you're planning a tour, the tour work doesn't start when you guys leave. Like, it's all the everything leading up to it as well. Setting up the tour, routing the tour with the booking agent, like all of that is part of what managers get paid for.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I was like, so when you were, I was surprised. Well, I wasn't necessarily surprised, but I was upset that you were upset at what I was supposed to make. So that's when I was like, Hop, you don't even work that hard. And that was the end right there.
That was the start of the end, because you said it 3 times.
2 times.
No, you said it 3 times.
We only spoke 2.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I remember.
Okay, 3 times.
You said it 3 times, because I got a 3. I got a 3.
But it wasn't even like, and I never even. But it was like a matter of fact comment. Like, that wasn't what we were talking about. I was offended that you were trying to knock my pay, and I'm like, I show up. Like, in my mind, I show up. I do what I'm supposed to do. If that's my role, like, I do it. I feel it. I show up to everything. I do what I'm supposed to do. How is my pay getting docked? Like, Hop, in my mind, like, you don't do everything that I feel like you are supposed to do. And I'm like, Hop, you don't even work that hard, and that's when you started cussing, yada yada yada.
I was mad. I was mad,
That was the end of that phone call,
yeah, and this was
and you blocked me.
wait. You talking about this? This is we were in
No,
Australia.
no, this was when Brandon. This was
Oh,
when Brandon
the
was on the
first. Oh,
call.
yeah, that one. Yeah, because I felt disrespected by that because um
Because probably what you talked about earlier, all the hard work that goes into making, and you
yeah,
make a
and
lion's share of the money
and
that
that's
comes
what it
in.
came down to as well, where I knew that my music was contributing a lot of money to the label, which was helping everybody out, and with whatever the business needed to do whatever. And so that's why I felt like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, if I didn't work hard, then let's just say if I just stopped and I like just took all my stuff out of the company. I didn't think that at that moment, but I was just like, then it would be harder for everybody to survive. So how, like, I felt like I deserved some credit in the sense of maybe I didn't do this business thing or this, but your boy had bars, my nigga. Your boy had bars, my nigga. These is real motherfuckers paying real money for these bars. So that's what I felt like. I was like, yo, I'm contributing a lot by what I'm doing, and sometimes I felt like you didn't see that, or you didn't acknowledge the skill that I actually had, and I felt like you looked at it more as just more like uh a robotic protocol that we were operating by, rather than adding human affection into the, like, man, that was dope, Hopsin. Like, I felt like I didn't
Right.
hear stuff like that. And so then when you made those comments, I felt like you looked at me as just like a computerized machine that can just do these things over and over and over as many times as
Right.
and yeah, so that made me feel like really offended, because I like the yeah. I mean, I feel like it just throughout my career, especially during those times, I had done some amazing things that I feel like are monumental for myself, for the label, and even some things that are arguably monumental for helping pave a new way for a culture in hip hop through through the whole
No, it's not
YouTube
even
stuff.
argued. I mean, I don't even think
Yeah,
that's the people argue
yeah.
that. But you see, the way you looked at it was not how I was looking at that. I'm thinking about all the times you didn't show up, all the times you didn't show up late, all the money that we wasted on videos that never came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how I'm thinking about it. But I'm only saying this because you're questioning what
No,
I'm being paid.
I know, and it's no, and I get that, and then that situation just turned into both of us are launching missiles at each other at that point, and yeah, I offended you with what I said and how I came off, and then you offended me back, and yeah, so I understand. Um, I guess, yeah, the reason, like, when you had said it again or a few more times, whatever, I told myself, like, after at one point we were on tour in Australia. I mean, do you want to get into the last conversation yet, or you want to? Is
Yeah,
there anything
no,
before
because
then?
so this was so after the Funk Volume 2015 tour ended, you guys still needed to go to Australia,
Yeah.
and that was a whole nother fiasco
Mm-hmm.
because again, you had already agreed to go to Australia,
Yeah.
but that's when you did call you called the booking agent direct, and you asked them, is this supposed to be a Funk Volume tour, or is this
Oh,
supposed to be a
oh
Hopsin
yeah,
tour?
I did. Uh-huh.
Right. So I'm like, it was always supposed to be a Funk Volume tour because it was complimentary to the US tour. Like,
Yeah.
we never even went out and said, because I think you were looking for a situation where they were asking for you to come out, and we turned it into a Funk Volume tour. You were
Yeah.
trying to see if that was the case.
Or I was looking at the bill on, or the the what the check was for it. I didn't really care about the money. I was just curious. I just wanted to know if, when when we do shows, is it, let's just say, if it's 20,000 for a show, is that 20,000 for a Hobson show, and then we're throwing everybody else in on it, and then cutting me down to whatever percentage, whatever price that was, or is it, let's just say it's 10,000 to book Hopsin, and then for Funk Volume they throw an extra 10 on it. I didn't know.
So we never. So we. I mean, I guess I would never. I mean, I don't know how the promoter and Matt decided like what the prices would be,
Yeah,
but we presented it as a tour. Like we didn't. They didn't like a Funk Volume tour.
yeah,
We didn't present it as a hop, so we didn't get like different prices for everybody. Like it was one price for the Funk Volume tour,
yeah,
right? So we never parceled it like that. Um, so I did the budgeting, and I know that this is where there was a hiccup because like who's getting paid for the meet and greets, yada yada
mm-hmm,
yada.
yeah,
So, and I've explained this before in a prior interview, but like when I do the budgeting, I looked at potential meet and greet income and show income as the same. Like okay, let's just say a show was 20,000. We're expected to get another 5,000 for the meet and greet. That's 25,000 we need to divvy up.
yeah,
So when I tell an artist how much they're getting paid for the show,
mm-hmm,
that is inclusive of the meet and greet. That's not like, oh, you're not getting paid for the meet and greet.
yeah, yeah,
I'm breaking down the 25,000 that was inclusive of the meet and greet.
mm-hmm,
Now I should have and could have said, okay, this is 20,000 for the show. You're getting 20,000. You're getting this piece of the 20,000 for the show. This is
yeah,
5,000 for the meet and greet. You're getting this piece. It would have
mm-hmm,
came out to be the same amount,
yeah, yeah,
but it would
and
have been communicated differently.
maybe that and I'm sure through our falling out and through the experience we've had, we now know that like if we were to deal with another artist, that should be explained because, and I mean for your sake, like so that artist doesn't turn on you or think that you're crazy, whatever. Because
Right.
they may go, oh, I don't care, but you go, nah, you will care one day. You may not right now, but you will. And yeah, and that day came for me where I cared, and maybe it should have been broken down. But I don't blame you for maybe not breaking it down to me in that kind of detail, because why would you have for that moment or that tour if you hadn't for all the other years and I just never cared and everything was fine. So I get it.
Right.
Um yeah, there's no it's
But
just
but from what I understand, the Australia tour, I didn't go on that one again. I was at the
mhm.
crib, and I understand that there were further conversations that was further bubbling up the negative energy and the like
About this just yeah. Mhm.
splitting way or getting a different manager or whatever. Because at that point we didn't talk. You're saying there was a third conversation?
There was one conversation we had. I wanted before we even get to that third one. We were all on the phone in Australia, but there
Okay,
was one call before that. I was in America still. It was before we went to Australia.
it just me and you. I
I
don't.
I
So I
think
don't remember this second one.
okay, no. But this not. I'm not saying this is not a one where the I don't work hard thing. I'm just saying this is a conversation you and I had,
Okay.
and I remember I had expressed to you that I wanted to um potentially get new management.
Uh huh.
And I know you didn't like when I said that. I could tell by the way you reacted to it. And I remember you specifically said, um, well, if I want new management, you said this not verbatim, but you said something around like you might as well just like go do your own thing then if you don't want if we're not like we might as well just like part ways or something, or you express something with that energy behind it. And that's where I was like, I don't, because I didn't see it, I didn't look at it as a reason to get out of the situation or whatever. I just didn't want you to be my manager. But I know you had said something along those lines that implied that maybe I should just go my separate way and do my own thing or something. And that's what struck me as odd. But I didn't think anything was gonna come out of it. I didn't like no one acted on
That
anything.
I'll be honest. I honestly don't remember saying anything like
You
that. That I
you
didn't think. I didn't think. Obviously it would hurt if I'm not your manager, especially if I feel like we just you guys just didn't pull levers that I thought you guys should have pulled. You guys didn't even work together. You guys didn't even put
yeah,
out an album. You guys
yeah,
did. There were so many things. It's like, hold on, like okay, I can't necessarily say I'm perfect,
yeah,
but I know for damn sure if we did these other things, we would be moving a lot faster. How
you're
come?
right.
Let's pull those things before. But at the end of the day, I mean, cats have the if you want a different manager, that's I can't I
No,
can't
I know,
hold you to that.
I
Like,
know. But you had said that because I just remember your energy where you said like, well, we might as well just like um not
Okay.
even
But
work
yeah, I
together.
don't
Some you
I honestly don't remember saying that.
no, but I'm not and you, I you it's okay because it's not that wasn't a conversation that pivoted anything in any direction.
Right.
So it was just one of the conversations that I remember, but it's all good.
Right.
There's no other point in that was leading to. It's just something that I remember, but
Got you.
whether it existed or it doesn't really matter ultimately. But anyways, fast forward to Australia, yeah. There was a lot of tension and um I honestly throughout the whole Australia while we were touring, I didn't feel like I was gonna leave Funk Volume. I didn't feel like that thought didn't cross my mind. The only thing that crossed my mind was just like, I can't wait to get a new manager because I'm sick of Dame and I can't stay. Like I was mad, I was frustrated,
Hmm.
and that was the only thing that was crossed my mind. That was the only extreme move that I was going to plan to bring to life once I got back to America. You know, and
And
then
but we were exchanging, so we weren't talking, but we were exchanging emails.
okay, yeah, I can't remember, but I'm sure we did, but I can't remember. But I
Right. The story of the song that you put out
mm-hmm.
was that essentially that I was crooked and shady and stealing, but that's not the story we just told.
No, okay. Let me break that down. So everything that I felt, the perspective that I had from 2015 or from the entire funk volume, like I said, me not being interested in understanding business the way that I should have. Those little gray areas of me maybe going, it's okay, Dame, I trust you to do it. It's all good. And that eventually taking its toll and me maybe potentially even playing myself in some ways going, now I don't understand the business and I left it off to him and now I'm getting mad over this. So I will take accountability for me not understanding certain things,